Would I be the butt face if I demanded to know who reported me to HR? Hi, I'm Rachel and welcome to Snacks and Scandals, where snacks meet Reddit story scandals. Today's episode theme has to do with coworker chaos, and our snack pairing for this episode are combo stuffed snacks cheddar cheese, because these people are a bit cheesy and also salty. So before we get into our delicious looking snack, let's get into our first story. Our first story comes from the subreddit, Am I the Butt Face? Would I be the butt face if I demanded to know who reported me to HR? I'm in my early 30s and male. In our office, I am known as a bit of a jokester. Nothing mean, and I don't go out of my way to prank someone or hurt anyone's feelings, but I have plenty of jokes and give lots of silly nicknames. There is a newer woman in our office. She's in her early 20s and has a 3-year-old. They live in an RV park a few miles away from work, and I've nicknamed her RV Reba. I didn't see the harm, just a silly nickname. I've given silly nicknames to most of my coworkers. If anyone complains about it, I just explain I don't mean anything by it. It's just a silly thing I do, and there is no reason for them to be offended. RV Reba wasn't thrilled with the nickname, said it was insulting, but I explained it wasn't intended to be. It was just something silly I came up with. She asked me to stop using it. I don't use it around her much anymore, but I think it's a silly thing to get upset about, so I still use it around others. Well, someone reported me to HR. I got called into a meeting this morning and given a written warning to stop harassing my coworkers. I don't see how this is harassing at all. They're silly nicknames. I asked who reported me, and they said it was not just one person, but multiple complaints. RV Reba and a few others were getting coffee, and I wanted to know who reported me. RV Reba said she didn't know what, but was glad they spoke to me about it since I wasn't listening to them asking me to stop. I think it was probably her and one of her 2 other coworkers who can never take a joke. I want to know exactly who it was though. A few coworkers said I'm already the butt face and should let it go, but I really want to know who reported me. Would I be the butt face if I demanded to know who it was? First of all, you don't get to decide what somebody is offended about, and if it's a derogatory term, which this is, RV Reba, it's insinuating negativity. She has a right to her feelings. And second of all, you don't get to demand who reported you to HR. They're not going to tell you. So I don't know how you can demand that. And lastly, what are you going to do if you do find out? Why are you so adamant about finding out? That's a little bit concerning to me. So let's read some comments. I think you know you're the butt face. Your jokes aren't amusing to others. This has been explicitly spelled out to you multiple times from the sound of it, therefore you should have already stopped. Anyone else very grossed out that he thinks he can just explain away something offensive by claiming it wasn't meant to be offensive? You're the butt face, massively. You zero in on something that someone finds embarrassing and repeatedly point it out to all sundry. What is wrong with you? You are not funny. You don't get to demand anything. You can request and then be told no. You do not get to decide what people want or like to be called. You don't get to decide how someone feels about something. Exactly what I said. Oh no, not another jokester. You're the butt face and they won't tell you anyway. You're the butt face and you're not as funny as you think you are. Stop being a dick. And one final comment reads, you are the butt face and would be the butt face if you continue this. What is the joke here? Either way, they asked you to stop and you didn't. Stop being a jerk to your coworkers. And I agree with that. So let's get into our delicious looking snack, shall we? Smells like Cheese Whiz. We've got a thick pretzel coating on the outside and a little bit of cheese on the inside. It is pretty dry and could use some more cheese in there. The cheese comes out initially, but then it's overpowered by the pretzel shell. So now that we've tried our snack, let's get into our second story. Our second story comes from Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole because I took all the leftovers home after a work party? I've worked at this company for 3 years. My 3-year anniversary landed on the same day of my significant other proposing, and to top it off, I'm getting promoted. I was expecting at least something from my coworkers, like a small party, gift, nothing fancy. I was pretty hurt when I came in that week to find nothing. There were congrats and well dones, but nothing else. I poured my eyes out later to my significant other and expressed how uncared for I felt. He contacted one of my coworkers, soon to be employees, and she went to my manager to set something up. They had a little buffet in the break room, just the common stuff, veggie platter, dips, chips, and sweets like cookies, tarts, and brownie, and some banners. At the end of the day, I took the leftovers home with me on the plate/Tupperware they came in. The coworker, again soon to be my employee, texted me that next day asking if I took the sweets she made along with the plates. I said yeah, and she got super hostile. Apparently, she wanted to keep those in the break room for those unable to attend the party so they could eat, and nowhere did she say that this was all for me. She also needed the platter plate back because she was making a birthday cake for her niece. My significant other and I both agreed it was wrong for her to text me and like that, and seeing as it was my party. If I wanted the leftovers, I deserved them. But he thinks I should just apologize to keep the peace. If I'm not wrong, I don't see the point. And there is an update. Stop saying I forced my significant other to contact my coworker. This was his own choice, and never once did I imply I approved or wanted him to do that. I only took the Tupperware because I had nothing else to carry the leftovers in. I tried to make all the employees feel special and celebrate their achievements, so I had more expectations out of them than I should have. That was my mistake. I think that's the key there, is that the expectations were unrealistic, and I've always thought that when you get frustrated with something or someone, it's because you have unreasonable expectations, or you're putting on them how you would have responded in that situation, so you're going to get frustrated. So let's read some comments. You're the a-hole. I'm sorry, what? You had your fiance call your coworkers to demand a party be thrown for you? How did you even get promoted when you clearly have no idea that what workplace boundaries are? LMAO, you deserve the leftovers. And why did you expect anything material? A congrats should be enough, in my opinion. So yes, you're the a-hole, and an entitled one, I must say. You're the a-hole. You were not entitled to the leftovers. For God's sake, you cried and forced them to throw a party. Plus, you took their Tupperware. Give it back. It wasn't yours. You're the a-hole. I worked with another version of you, and nobody could ever understand why you get so weird about the leftovers from catered lunches and parties. It wasn't your party. This was an office party for the office, not for you. And our last comment reads, you're the a-hole. It was bad enough when you expected a party. Then you basically stole the plates and are angry at her for wanting it back. Do you do this at restaurants too? Do you have a party there and take home the cutlery and plates and refuse to give it back? So let me know what you think of this person. How wrong were they? I think there were many levels where they were in the wrong. So I'd love to hear from you what you thought. And our final story also comes from Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for pranking my coworker with fake spiders and making her cry? So I might have taken an innocent prank way too far, and now I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. I work in a small office, and my coworker, let's call her Lisa, is absolutely terrified of spiders. She jumps on her desk at the sight of even the tiniest spider, and everyone in the office knows it. So, of course, with Halloween coming up, I thought it would be hilarious to play an innocent prank on her. I found some pretty realistic fake spiders online and bought a whole bunch of them. Over the course of last week, I strategically placed them around her desk, in her drawer, on her chair, you name it. At first, she was startled but brushed it off. I thought it was all in good fun. However, I think I may have taken it too far today. So instead of just one of two, I decided to put a whole handful of spiders in Lisa's desk drawer. I guess this was too much for her because when she opened the drawer, she screamed, started crying, and had a full-blown panic attack. I immediately rushed over to explain it was just a prank, but the damage was done. She genuinely traumatized by the experience, and now she won't even look at me. My other coworkers say I went too far, and I feel terrible about how scared Lisa got. So am I the a-hole for pranking my coworker with fake spiders and making her cry, even though it was meant to be harmless fun? Yes, you're absolutely the a-hole. One or two spiders, okay, no big deal, but then you just took it too far. You wanted to get an even bigger reaction out of her. So you put a whole handful of spiders in her desk, and you got what you wanted. You got her to freak out. She freaked out a little bit more than you expected, and now you're probably going to be going to HR. So let's read some comments. You're the a-hole. One or two is enough, and then it seems like you took it to an extreme. Some people, including myself, have an extreme fear of them. She isn't your friend or family member. She is a coworker. What you did was cruel and let alone unprofessional. No, even one was too many. It was something that truly scared the victim, and that's why OP picked her. That's not a prank. It's just exploiting someone's fears. A prank would have been leaving a fake spider in the office of someone who wasn't afraid of spiders. What part of your harmless prank was fun for Lisa? Yes, you're the a-hole, an enormous one, and I sincerely hope she reports you to HR so they can explain why stupid crap like this has zero place in a business setting. And our final comment reads, you're the a-hole. It's only a prank if everyone finds it funny. Otherwise, it's just bullying. Clearly, it wasn't harmless fun to her. I'm afraid of spiders too, and if someone did that to me, I would be pissed. You owe her an apology. That's a very good point. At the very least, this coworker needs to give Lisa an apology. So let me know what you think about this. Did this prank go too far? I would say yes. And the overall consensus is this person is the a-hole. And my thoughts on our combo stuffed snack cheddar cheese are that the outer shell is a little bit too thick for me with the pretzel. They're very dry, and I think that they could use some more cheese, and maybe the cheese could also not be so dry. But they do have a decent flavor. I would rank them a 4.5. And would I buy them again? I would not buy this flavor again, but I would try one of their other flavors. So let me know if you have tried combos, cheddar cheese snacks, and what you think of them. Do you like the thick pretzel outer shell? I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode, and I hope you'll join me for the next one.